Well, with me now are Kenny Imafidon, who is from the group Bite the Ballot, and Areeq Chowdhury, who's Chief Executive of WebRoots Democracy, a pressure group which campaigns for greater voter participation. I would like to see the introduction of online voting. Welcome to you both. Kenny, what do you feel about the results of this referendum?
Well, in terms of the results, I guess the country has decided, and then, to be honest, a lot of us, we've just got to work now to ensure that we get the best deal that we can get.
You are a younger voter, and there is this very clear division that people over 50 basically favoured out, people under 50 didn't. Do you think that's fair?
I guess if it's a fact, then it's a fact. There's nothing that we can do about that. This referendum, in terms of the facts, and obviously there was a lot of lies as well. People have been misled in a lot of ways, so people have voted for what they feel. So there's nothing really we can do about that.
What about the turnout? Do you think you were successful in getting younger voters to turn out?
No, I think a lot of young people turned out. Obviously, we're not really going to know until much later on. However, each to their own, really.
Areeq, you'd like it to be online?
Yeah, I mean, it's good that we got 72% voter turnout, but we should be looking at why so many people didn't vote. I mean, 13 million people didn't vote in this referendum. And yeah, so I've been campaigning for online voting and other democratic reforms for over 2 years now, and I've seen no serious action taken by the government to tackle this issue.
Well, I think they're more than. I mean, quite a lot of people aren't online, aren't there? That's a significant section of the population.
Yeah, it's actually 80% or so use the internet every day.
So
I mean,
20% aren't.
Yeah, I mean, I'd only advocate it as an option to go alongside postal voting and the current methods of voting. However, I do think it's a shame that the government hasn't done anything at all to really tackle voter engagement when it's such a big issue. 13 million people not voting, I think, is a disgrace for this referendum, for the amount of campaigning that's gone into it. And I think, to be honest, I think the government should set up an inquiry to look at voter engagement seriously and actually pass some real reforms.
Well, they have looked at it previously, and one of the things they found was that the best way to increase it would be to have universal postal voting, but the problem is that's open to fraud.
No, of course, but I guess one of the best ways to actually ensure that we're taught politics in school. A lot of the young people who I spoke to, my friends, their biggest issue is that they don't know anything to do with politics, and when they hear about this referendum and the economy, immigration, they've got no clue whatsoever about these topics and issues. So we need to ensure that our younger citizens do actually learn about politics in school. If it's so important and it really affects every part of their life, then why are we not taught it in school?
How do you feel personally about what it means for you, Britain, deciding to withdraw from the European Union?
Yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed myself. I mean, I think it's a shame. I think young people are only 20% of the current population, but they're 100% of the future one. And I think it's a deep shame that despite, as your colleague was saying earlier, despite having overwhelmingly voted to remain in the European Union, they've been outvoted by an older generation who, frankly, got to enjoy the benefits of European Union membership. And similar to issues like free university tuition fees, issues like the ability to get onto the housing ladder, young people have been denied the same opportunities that were afforded to their parents and their grandparents' generation.
What do you feel, Kenny?
Well, I feel like I said earlier, right now, really the work starts from now in regards to ensuring that we get the best deal possible.
But I mean, do you feel that you personally have lost something?
Personally lost something? Well, obviously, the thing is that I don't know what I'm going to lose yet. That's the problem. In terms
well, you might lose, you lose the freedom to move around Europe, for example.
Obviously, those things there for me, obviously, they're important. However, in terms of the full depths, I'm still uncertain, like a lot of the population, in terms of what's really going to happen once we fully exit.
What about the fact that for many people who voted to come out of the European Union, the question of immigration was foremost in their minds? How does that make you feel?
Honestly, I think that I've always thought immigration was always actually the main issue around this referendum. I always feel like sovereignty and the economy was sort of window dressing for immigration. And I think the way both of the campaigns went about it, I think was just awful. I mean, the Leave campaign doing that disgusting breaking point poster, and even Leave.eu did another poster of Muslims raping women on a boat, and they label immigrants as terrorists, rapists, criminals. I think it's a complete sham that people were sold that lie about immigration when all of the facts show that immigration has been beneficial for this country. It creates jobs through boosting demand in the economy, and I think that's the kind of campaign that the Remain campaign should have been doing. I mean, I think the problem over the last few years is that we don't talk about the benefits of immigration. even unskilled immigration, right? People say, oh, we only want skilled migrants, but a lot of the best doctors, nurses, lawyers, engineers, they're the sons and daughters of unskilled migrants to this country. And I think we should have been talking about the benefits. I mean, the last few years we've talked about migrants as cockroaches and a swarm of migrants, and migrants
at the same time, Kenny,
community.
people do feel that they're competing for housing, for access to the health service, and that their wages are being bid down by immigration.
Of course, so obviously, as you can see, there's in a lot of areas where there's a lot of poverty. For them, they feel like that's because of the massive influx for them of migrants moving to their community. However, I feel like one of the things which we need to really take from this referendum is actually unity is really something we need right now, regardless of the outcomes. We actually do need to come together and solve these issues.
Thank you both very much indeed.